This spring, our group focused on SCD number 11, which is Sustainable Cities and Communities.
For our project, we looked into the mental health of those suffering from the housing crisis.
The solution we are pitching today is a nonprofit organization called the Ladder of Hope.
The housing crisis itself is at an all-time high with population growth, raised rent, and the aftermath of the COVID pandemic. Stresses of the housing crisis have a bidirectional relationship with mental health. Those under these conditions experience feelings of anger, fear, resentment, and loneliness because of isolation and the pressures of providing for themselves and families. Outcomes of these feelings include abuse because of stress on family relationships and an impact on mental and physical growth in these crowded spaces. Depression from this isolation, and it can lead to or escalate existing anxiety disorders. So substance abuse because of the need to escape.
While merely 6% of the overall population reports being severely mentally ill, 25% of people who experience homelessness have severe mental illness. In the same study, 10% of mothers who lived in acutely bad housing were clinically depressed, demonstrating that women were much more likely to suffer from clinical depression if they lived in bad housing. We also must think about the implications of the housing crisis on family dynamics. In fact, out of one poll, 15 million people, or 33%, said that housing costs resulted in depression and anxiety in their family.
The Ladder of Hope organization will have an outreach campaign to raise awareness of our services. We will buy houses on the market and renovate them to comfortably fit two families. Once people come to us, they would explain their current situation in a written form and to a board of human resources. After gaining an understanding of their situation and which of our services would be most helpful to them, our new customers are then put into one of the living spaces without having to pay any rent for the first 4 months. The tenants would be able to access free child care programs, grocery stipends, group counseling sessions by demographic, and individual check-ins. We will require some sort of paycheck proof to prove that the tenant is currently or able to find employment, unless the Board of Human Resources decides to give them an extended deadline to find employment. After the first 4 months, we would ask that the tenant start trying to pay the full rent in order to continue living there, but this deadline can differ depending on the situation. The organization offers services to assist in finding jobs with better wages. Ideally, after 6 months, our beneficiaries will no longer require our services.